Call this meeting to order at 6 p.m., January the 6th, 2025. Asked Commissioner Hopkins if you'd say the prayer.
Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you in Jesus' holy name. Thank you, Lord, for keeping us safe for this year. Lord, we look forward to your wisdom to guide us for this upcoming year, Lord God. We also want to keep President Carter's family in our prayers, Lord God. You know, he's a good president. He represented the state of Georgia and did a lot for humanity. And Lord, I just ask you to give wisdom to this board to do your will and keep Wayne County under your umbrella. In Jesus' holy name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Okay. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item of business is adoption of the agenda. Open the floor for a motion to adopt the agenda.
Chairman, if nobody has any additional deletion, I move we adopt.
I second that, Chairman.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
If
Madam
we
Clerk?
if we can separate, under approval of the minutes, A, and the work session minutes and the regular meeting minutes, can we do those in two? Because Commissioner Franks and myself were unable to be at that meeting to approve those minutes instead of approving them all together.
Okay, on 7.
On 7A, work session,
Okay.
just do them separately, please. But I'm good with the other.
Mr. Chairman, Robert's Rules of Order, I don't know what we're gonna, but since they were not there, would it be just as efficient, they could simply abstain?
I think so.
Okay, that's fine.
You good with that? Okay. So we have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
Commissioner McCreary,
I recuse myself.
Commissioner Hopkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Franks.
I abstain.
Next item up of business is election of chairman for 2025. I'd like to make a motion for Kevin McCreary.
Hey,
Do I
wait, hey, just a second, Chairman. I think y'all got confused because number 4 was the adoption of the agenda.
Yeah.
So, would y'all like for me to call for another vote?
Start over.
Okay,
Yeah, they just should abstain on the work session.
That's right.
okay. Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
Commissioner McCreary,
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas.
Yes.
Commissioner Franks.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, election of the chairman. I'd like to make a motion for Kevin McCreary. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner McCreary,
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Franks,
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon.
Yes.
Can we judge on how long this meeting is?
Okay.
What did he say?
You gonna be judged on how long this meeting is? I'd like,
I'm good.
okay.
Thank y'all, I guess. I heard I'm gonna be judged by how long this meeting goes, so, we'll do what we have to do to make sure everything's in order.
We got bets on 45 minutes.
Okay, the next item is to elect a vice chairman. Anybody got a motion for a vice chairman?
I would like to ask if Mike Gordon would consider being vice chair. If that's okay with you.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you.
Second.
Any other comments? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Hopkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Franks,
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
Commissioner McCreary.
Yes. Next item is approval of the minutes for the work session November the 26th, 2024, and the regular meeting minutes for December the 2nd, 2024. I have a motion to approve those minutes.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any comments, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Franks,
Abstain.
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
excuse me, Commissioner McCrary,
I abstain.
and Commissioner Hopkins.
Yes.
Next item is Sean O'Quinn with our health insurance update.
Your health insurance is renewed. I got it under on.
It's your birthday
I'm
too.
just trying to speed it along.
Yippee-ki-yay.
Hey, so, thank y'all for letting me be here today, tonight. As you can tell, Mr. Malloy is not here with me. Mr. Malloy had a, unfortunate accident with a firearm, and, he's recovering right now. So he's gonna be fine. His health is okay and everything. It was just an unfortunate incident. So, before I get started, I do want to mention a couple things. This year's health fair was, well attended. Probably one of the best things that we've ever done is implement that health fair, because that was something that hadn't been done in a while. And, Ed Jeffers was really a big proponent of doing that and starting that, so we did do that. Also, I want to give a shout out to Wayne Memorial Hospital. You guys don't know this, I don't think you know this, but, so far every year, they have, provided a phlebotomist to us to do a blood draw. And not only that, but they have on their expense taken and, done all the lab work for us. So whenever all the lab work is done, we get a book, I get a book about that thick of every employee that had their lab work done with all their lab results. Fortunately, I don't look through all that, so, but it's brought back to the county, and the county hands it out to all the employees. The good thing about this is if you've got an employee who is, fairly young, may not go to a hospital or to a doctor a whole lot, they actually get a reading of their cholesterol, their blood pressure, triglycerides, PSA tests, all that kind of stuff. So they can be identified themselves that they have an issue. Now, we do have someone that actually does look at that information to try to see who might need to go to a doctor and get some medication on this. So we do try to be proactive with that, okay? But that information stays close to the chest. We don't talk about that. Another thing that we were doing is, I don't know if Commissioner Franks wasn't here, but we had brought someone to the table last year called All Health. And All Health was the provider of different types of medical equipment. They were giving out diabetes medicine or diabetes things that you put on your arm. I don't know what they're called.
Monitors.
Yeah, monitors. And then weight scales, and there you go, and some other things like that. And they were keeping track of all that with some of the employees. And one of them approached me, he had left, he's come back, and he actually had that in Appleton County where we do their health insurance also with All Health. And he wanted to know, could he do it here? And I said, yes, you're in luck, we can still do that. So he was really happy about it. So one of the things to remind you is if they did not give us a 15%, if we couldn't see I believe it was a 15% reduction in our costs, we were gonna get all of our money back. So, we don't have all the data yet, but we're expecting it here pretty soon to know if we're gonna get all our money back for what the cost of that was. And like I told y'all back then, at that time, I asked her if it's 14.99%, do we still get our money back? And she said, yes. I said, well, I'm holding you to that. So I'm holding her to that. So just keep that in mind. Now, onto your health insurance. We did go to the market like we always do. We went to the market and put it out for bid for other companies, TPAs, networks, all that kind of stuff. We sent it all out. And all the other quotes that we got had what was called a laser on those. And what a laser is if you have anybody who has a chronic issue, which you guys do, you have several people in your employee pool that has some chronic issues, they put a higher deductible on that person. So right now, you're responsible for the first $200,000 of any employee, okay? Anything above that, the insurance company actually pays. You have a reinsurance. The reinsurance reimburses you back. So if you have someone who has a $500,000 claim, you're on the hook for the first $200,000. The other $300,000 is reimbursed back to you once those claims are paid, okay? So you think about it like it's a pot of money. The money comes in, the money goes out to pay claims. That's basically how it works. But then when it gets to a certain threshold, you have a company, an insurance company that pays all the claims above that. Well, several of these, every one of these companies that we went to, they had a laser. One of them had an $800,000 laser on those employees that had the chronic issues. So what that means is you would have been on the hook for the first $800,000 for anything that's going on with them. And there's some folks, and I can't go into a whole lot of detail here, but if, Mr. Chairman, you'd like to stop by my office one day, I can tell you, and you can talk to the others about it. I can go into a little bit more detail about it, but there's some people that are not real healthy, you know, in our pool. Now, this is not anything new. We have been fighting this for, 15 years, I think, that since I have been your provider. We've been fighting this, and it's not fun, but we have done everything that we can do to try to put in some processes to try to fix that. And I think we have slowed it down. I don't know if there's anything you can do to actually fix it altogether, but I do think we've slowed it down. One of the things is the health fair, you know, and the all health. Those have been, I think they've been pretty good. Now, with all that said, up till September, you guys have paid out a little over $2 million so far in your claims. And the reason we went to market with it was because you did get a 9% rate increase, okay? Mr. Drawing and I have talked about the fixed costs and everything, what that went up to. We also have had our quarterly meetings with Mr. Drawing, and, you know, nobody likes an increase. You know, I don't like it either, and I'm in the insurance business, and, you know, I'll just be honest with you, it sucks, you know? But the average for health insurance increases is about 15%. So it's not all detrimental, it's not all bad news. I mean, yeah, it's an increase, but it's not as bad as it really could be. And the things that affect this is not only the health of the group, but it's inflation also. Insurance is not immune to inflation. You got the cost of medical reports going up, you got the cost of procedures going up. Now, one benefit is that, you know, people don't stay in the hospital as long as they used to, which is a great benefit. But we are working as hard as we can to find new ways of saving you money. One of those things is we've been working for about 4 years now on a program called 340B, which is a way that we can get medication at a federal level that is way lower than what we can buy at a drugstore. And these medications are not for every medication. These medications are only for very high-cost medications that our local pharmacies don't normally keep on the shelves. So we've worked really hard trying to get that, and we're very close to a plan now with the 340B. So, well, I'll entertain any questions if you have any.
I'd just like for you to pass it on back to the hospital and the board. It makes those decisions to really contribute back to our employees. That saves us a lot of money, and it also, some of the people that gets the blood work done, that gives them an incentive to be healthier.
Yes.
I know I would, if there was a program like that, I would more than likely go and participate versus make an appointment and doing it on my own. So pass that back on to that board. We really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. And you know, the thing about it is that I know the first year we did this, I opened up the book, I just randomly opened up the book because I just wanted to see what it looked like. The first person I pulled up, their cholesterol was 400. And I'm sure they didn't know it, you know, and they're just a stroke waiting to happen. And those are the things that we're trying to mitigate, that we're trying to figure out, all right, how do we get those people to a doctor? What's the easiest way of doing that? So that's what we've been doing. And Mr. Drawing and I have some ideas that I'm gonna go with him somewhere to talk with another county to talk with them about doing some other things too. But
deal.
we have been talking with that. But I will say this, we have probably the best relationship with Wayne Memorial Hospital that we have ever had. They have been a great partner for us. Anytime I ask Mr. Irardi for anything, he just about gives it to me. We were looking for an extra large cuff one time, and he was on vacation, and he made 4 or 5 calls trying to find one for me. And, you know, that's just going above and beyond. So, you know, really do appreciate Wayne Memorial and all they do for us.
Yeah, thank him for us, cause if he don't okay it don't happen.
That's right. Thank you for all they're not little things, but the things that you go above and beyond to try to make sure our people are taken care of, make sure they're healthy, and also make sure that our the amount we pay is to a minimum.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Does that go on my time, or is that?
Did I go long?
Next item, presentation and announcements. That was Sean. Citizens' concerns. Before we start this, I'm gonna read this, for our decorum. Many of you already know it. The chair shall enforce the rules of decorum. The purpose of the meeting of the Board of Commissioners is to conduct the county's business. Meetings shall be conducted in an orderly and a respectful fashion. They are not a forum to belittle, ridicule, or embarrass county commissioners, other county officials, county employees, or others. Public participation, members of the public may speak for 5 minutes. We will time it, and may only speak on the subject they listed to speak on. Members of the public are expected to comply with the rules of decorum. Individuals violating any rules of the board may be ruled out of order by the chairman or on a point of made by another commissioner. The majority vote of the board shall rule on the point out of order, and the individual violating the rules of decorum may be removed from the meeting at the direction of the chair. With that being said, Mr. Jason, is he here? Okay. All right, we'll take that one off. Tony Summerall, Public Safety. Mr. Beaver, would you time us, please?
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to be able to come, and thank God for this day that He's given to us. This is just a follow-up. We never closed this problem out. And I usually don't do well when things aren't closed out properly. You asked me to come, first things first is I do thank you for trying to keep Wayne County safe and trying to keep it manageable. I understand there's a lot of things that are going on that are difficult. Anytime that you have more than 2 people in a room, you're gonna have disagreements, and I get it. I get it pretty good. I wanna thank you, Mr. Gotti, first of all. I came to you a couple months ago with an issue with the ramps at the voting booth, and you took care of them. You kept your word. Thank you for making that safer for our people that are in wheelchairs. That was a total, that was hard. That was something hard to do, and I appreciate you keeping up with that. First of all, I want to be thankful for the first responders who are the pulse of the people in their hands, literally, that work here in Wayne County. I've been in EMS now over 40 years, done a little bit of different things. Been an EMT, been a paramedic, been a nurse, been a flight medic, been a TAC helicopter pilot, worked for our citizens. I've run the ERs, I've run hospitals. And you asked me to give a class about 18 months ago on public safety on fatigue. I didn't take that lightly. I went in and did all the research for y'all. I gave you all measurable evidence. That's all. Not my opinion. As a safety officer in the United States military for 30 years, I was never able to give my opinion because my opinion really didn't matter. What really mattered was the evidence that was available that you could do research on and say, this is what we have in front of us. Yet I brought all that evidence to you. I came on your request. I provided you the class. I provided you the information. And yet, we didn't do all the things that we said we were going to do with that evidence. So, I can only go on the measurable evidence I have in front of me when I come back and say, well, we failed our own county here. We have failed our own county on public safety. The safety of not just these people here, but the people that work for our EMS, the people that work for fire, the people that work for you, and the people that have to take care of me when I have a heart attack, or your mother, or your father that fall out of bed and have a stroke, and they have to arrive at 4:35 in the morning. They've already been up for 48 hours, and now they have to make a critical decision-making process, and they're not able. It's not because they're not able, it's because we placed them in a situation that is highly, highly dangerous just because of fatigue. You don't have to add any other measurable evidence into that except for fatigue. I provided you over 400 references at the DOD, the FAA, even the joint hospitals, concerns about working their people over 12 hours. We said that we would come together as a group and we would have a meeting. Mr. Hopkins, you said, I would like you to meet with the EMS director at the time and come up with policies. We never followed up through it. It never got done. It never was finished. Even though I did my part, I just want to make sure the county knows, because I stood here and said, yes, I would do it. I was ready. I went and did my own work. I did 60 hours plus easily. I had 3 different scenarios of how to provide different times, how to provide different shifts, how to do different things to provide us a safer atmosphere for our own people. And they wouldn't lose any money. But yet, nobody was ready to receive that. I asked multiple times to come back and talk about it, and I was denied. I asked again if you would allow me to speak on to those points, and you decided that it wasn't important. So, when an employee arrives on duty, I think they should be 100% capable throughout their duty purpose to take care of their job that we call them to do. Do you want me at 50% when I'm flying a helicopter? Do you want your nurse or your doctor that comes in and does your surgery on your knee at 50%, 20%, 10%? What level of ability do you want them at when they're taking care of you or your loved one? I hope we want 100% of our people, right? 100%. That is totally capable with the evidence that we have in front of us that shows at 12 hours on duty, the person is about 96% effective. At 16 hours of duty, they're 85% effective. At 20 hours on duty, they have lost almost 20% of their ability to do their job. At 30 hours on duty, they're 50%, and 36 hours duty, they're 30%. I understand that's my time. I just have 2 questions for you. Why have we not finished this up? Why did we not continue to go to our people and say, hey, we looked at all this information, and this is what we have found. What did you use as a group of people? I came to you and I provided you all this evidence. What did you use as measurable evidence to say that's not necessary? We don't see that as safety as our people. We don't see that as safety that's causing our people to fail. And we don't see this as a risk to our citizens that these people are serving. I would like an answer. And I'd like to see if we can probably get this closed out sometime. You've asked me to do this 2 years ago, and yet we have yet to do it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Now, what would I do? Probably nothing.
Next item is public hearings, beer, wine license for Crossroads Country Store.
I don't think he's here, but he's met all the requirements, and he's actually is, a change of ownership. He's purchasing the new store.
Okay, but all the requirements for the county
Yes.
have been met?
Yes.
Okay. All right, we have no old business, new business. Consider and approve health insurance renewal. That's the one that Sean just got through, going through.
We have to vote on that beer and wine thing?
Sir?
We have to vote on that?
Yes,
We
sir.
will
It's-
later.
It's B.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So do I have a motion to consider or approve the health insurance renewal?
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Franks,
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
Commissioner McCreary,
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas.
Yes.
Next item, consider and approve beer and wine license for Crossroads Country Store. As Madam Clerk said, all the requirements that we have from the county have been met. Do I have a motion to approve that?
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments?
So from my understanding is this is an existing store that has beer and liquor. The ownership has been transferred, so the license has to be renewed in the new owners.
Yes, they have to go through a background check and all of that before they can be approved. Yep,
And they've met all the requirements.
yep.
That's all I have.
Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
Commissioner McCreary,
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Franks.
Yes.
Next item is consider and approve resolution authorizing acceptable forms of payment for ad valorem taxes. It's my understanding that Ally, is she
Yep.
one that's asking,
Yes.
for this so that we can do, or make more readily available the online payments?
Yes. Or any payments other than cash.
Right. And we also talked about this because one of the things we have a problem with our auditors is not being able to go behind. I think this would clarify some of that so that you can go back and check and make sure money's received and put in the proper place. So,
I make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
I second.
thank you. Any comments? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner McCrary,
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas.
Yes.
Commissioner Franks.
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon.
Yes.
Next item, consider and approve, notice to distribute property and title and ad valorem taxes and disbursement of motor vehicles. Currently, we do that monthly. And the thing we were talking about is, what I would like to see is us be able to do it bi-monthly, because in some of the latter part of the year where we need money, we would be able to transfer that money rather than a monthly basis. We could do it bi-monthly so that we don't have to dip into other funds, and would save us from having to do that, the paperwork, the man hours, all of that. But certainly it can be done monthly in these first few months when we have money and we're not in a bind. So do we have a motion on this?
So moved.
I second it.
Any comments?
My comment would be, I love the idea about that, the bi-monthly. Is that something we could look at in the future?
Well, that's what you're approving right now.
Oh, that's
is-
what we're approving now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I
thought it
just
was
made that,
monthly.
yeah.
Okay, yes, thank you. I'm good. I didn't realize that.
Any more comments? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Hopkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas.
Yes.
Commissioner Franks.
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon.
Yes.
Commissioner McCrary.
Yes. Next item is consider and approve EMS staffing and revenue service truck proposal. This is what was brought to us in the work session. I think, I was unable to meet that because of, my wife having to go to the doctor. We were given 3 proposals. Patrick is here. If we have any questions or any comments or anything that he may need to answer, on that. But that's what we'll be looking at, is whether it would be A, B, or C, and that's what he gave us. I guess route A, what would you call it? Option A would be $610,000. Option B would be $299,891, and option C would be $284,000. Do you want to go into detail just briefly, not a work session, but just briefly, because I only have 45 minutes, and just briefly on the difference. I know you and I had talked about the hourly schedules and the changes in those. Maybe start off with that and say which ones would change the hours that they would be working, the benefits to each one, please.
So option A will allow me to hire 8 new positions to help cut down on overtime, help cut down on the needs that our staff is working the hours, with the proposed also pay raises that was in your guys' book as well. Option B, and that also gives me the 4 battalion chief positions that I am asking for the updated stuff that's coming down the state, probably by the end of March, that I'm gonna have to have in place. Option B is keeping them on the same schedule. A and B is the same schedule. B is just 4 new positions, but that's without the battalion chief position. But once again, I'll probably be coming back up here in March saying I've gotta have these positions now because of the state mandates that are coming down. And then option C is the one that changes the hours. Option C, I'm only asking for 5 new positions. On option C, so that is changing their hours from a 24/72, means they work one 24-hour shift, they're off 3 days, to to a 48.96, which means they would work 2 days, off 4 days. I'm gonna be honest with you, that even in the work session, we asked the crews what their preference was. We're gonna lose some people if we go to this option. For my vision of the department, for the safety of our crews, and what I see is coming down the pipeline from the state, option A is by far gonna be the best option for us to go.
Less fatigue with option A.
Yes, sir.
And also, like you said, in March, they're gonna require these positions. And also, like we talked about in the work session, that, having these new people on these positions, we can do more runs, pickups, what we call transfers.
Well, so what.
And that's
what
gonna
we'll
help
be
pay
able to do is
for
have-
it.
Be able to put the, what I call the revenue truck in, which will be a 12-hour truck. It will not run 24 hours. It's not going to be part of the 911 system. It'll be a separate truck by itself. That'll be a 12-hour shift. Talking with the hospital and the hospital staff, that truck's probably gonna run from 8 AM to 3 PM doing the runs. Then we can also use that truck as a fourth backup 911 truck, because we are getting busy on the 911. 911 runs this year, we were 50 runs shy of 5,000 runs of 911 calls. So we'll be able to offset those times we had no trucks available because all our trucks were out.
And also offset the $610,000 that's gonna be for
They
these
will
new
help offset,
positions.
yes, sir.
It'll help with
Like I
that too.
said, during the work session, the conservative number is with that transfer truck, we'll probably clear 1.4 million
Yep.
in revenue. This year, I don't have all the numbers for this year yet, I probably won't have them till the end of the month, but we were on track for close to 1.1,
Right.
just on the 911 side.
That's all questions I had, Chair.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, upon the recommendation of Patrick, I'd like to make a motion for option A.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any comments? Thank you. Thank you for your work in getting all of these options together for us. And, you know, a lot of us are not experts on this, but we're thankful that you come in and clarify some of the things, the needs that we have in EMS. And that's what we're all here for. Commissioner Hopkins and I were talking about. We're just here to make everything work as smooth as possible in Wayne County, and if we're providing services, we provide them to the best of our ability. Same thing with insurance. That's Sean's looking out for us there, and that's what we need, is more people looking out to make sure we're being guided in the correct direction. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Franks,
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
Commissioner McCrary,
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins.
Yes.
Next item, T-Splosh agreement for Oglethorpe Road and Tank Road, including an agreement in resolution authorizing the chairman and the county clerk to execute agreement. And that will be to execute the agreement on these two only, not from now on. Correct?
I so move, Mr. Chairman.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any comments? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Franks,
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
Commissioner McCrary,
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas.
Yes.
Next item, consider and approve VOCA grant for the district attorney's office. We all were given some paperwork on this. This is a grant that they apply for every year. We don't have a lot of control over this. This money does not come through us with the grant. It goes straight to him. I asked these questions with the previous problems that we've had to see, and they have someone else who looks at this and monitors it to make sure, and the matching portion has been waived, so we won't have anything in this. So do I have a motion to approve this, them to proceed with the VOCA grant?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any comments, concerns?
So my understanding is this is a grant.
$132,000.
Right. And the matching funds that we would have to, as a county, pay has been waived.
Yes.
So there's gonna be no cost to the county.
Right.
Okay. I'm good.
And this is split up regionally.
Right.
It's not just for us, but at least that way it'll help out on some of the cost.
I'm good.
Okay. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
Commissioner McCrary,
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas.
Yes.
Commissioner Franks.
Yes.
Next, item H, consider and approve ClearGov software proposal. This proposal, for the software that we're getting, it costs $3,000 to set it up, and it will be a cost of $26,625 a year, every year after that. The main thing that I see in this, I'm sure you all looked at it in your book, the main thing that I see is transparency. This will all be put online. Did I hear one of y'all clap? I know it's gonna help these two out tremendous, because they work weeks on end every day, because I call them and still working on budget. This is gonna give each department head the opportunity to go in, fill out what they desire for their budget, give Amanda and Paul the opportunity to look through it, check on it, make sure that they're all necessities and things that they can, that they really need, and this will all be put on our webpage. So anybody can go on there at any time and look at it, and if you have a question about how much we're spending on, whether it's trash trucks, animal control, police, sheriff, whatever, you can go in there, look it up, and you can find it out for yourself, and you don't have to ask those questions to somebody that may not be giving you accurate information. All this will be updated periodically as it comes available, and we can all go on there. We'll be able to go on there if we have a question, rather than go through this. We can go on the computer, type it in, and pull up exactly what we need, and not have to look through all of this paperwork to find what we're looking for. So do I have a motion that we purchase this software for them?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Okay, have a motion and a second. Any more comments?
Go
I was just
ahead.
gonna ask, we've been doing it by paper. We've been doing budgets by paper, like I did for years. Well, this would make it a lot better.
Somewhat by
Faster.
paper, but
Yeah.
Well, I think the biggest thing, Mr. Franks, too, is, and what I know good and well you're familiar with, is what, and Kevin and I talked about it this morning some. You know, I remember when I was first elected to the Board of Education, it's the same thing. You walk in and they hand you that thick packet, like the chairman just showed, and it's an Excel spreadsheet. And you're going, what in the world is this mess? You can't hardly make, you know, I mean, it takes y'all, you know, at least 6 to 12 months to kind of come up to speed on being able to read these accounting type spreadsheets. So one of the things this does is it really adds that level of transparency that the chairman talked about, and makes it so much more readable and accessible. And I mean, you can even, you know, even the citizens can go online and choose different options for graphs or charts or whatever to really give a visual impact of what our budget's doing.
My only comment, well, two comments, I agree with that. I just agree that as it's set up, that maybe if we look at some of the other people, other counties or something, see how they got it set up, so make it as user-friendly as possible. Because the way we've got our stuff set up between the different roads and adding the stuff together, I'm still learning what's what. So that would be a suggestion when you go to set it up. My next suggestion would be, is how secure is this? Is the firewall?
It is, and so here's, Mr. Hopkins, I'll tell you, one of the reasons the county clerk has been researching this, and I started to say bugging me about it, that's not true. She's been on me about this, and rightfully so, because I'm telling you, because it is a massive undertaking, you know, handling this budget the way it's been handled for the last probably 30 years or more. So with that in mind, she has reached out to a lot of different counties, and ClearGov works with a pile of counties across the nation, but a lot in Georgia because they seamlessly integrate with BS&A, which is our current financial software. So once we send them the data, they're gonna upload it, and then literally once a month, as she does y'all's books and stuff, she'll be doing that in ClearGov. I mean, she literally hits a button and it migrates everything over to BS&A, so it's a seamless. And it's all cloud-based, which makes it, you know, a lot more secure than keeping it on a server somewhere. And that's another reason. And obviously, there's, you know, there's several factors that go into the cost of it. That cloud-based option is one of those reasons. However, when it comes to security, cybersecurity especially, that's, you know, probably the best way you can go versus keeping it on a physical server somewhere around here in our building that could be, you know, tapped into. Thank you. That's all I have.
Okay. Anybody else? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner McCrary?
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas?
Yes.
Commissioner Franks?
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon?
Yes.
Next item, consider and approve opioid policy. This has come down from the Senate from Bill 395.
Yes, sir.
This, I'm trying to think. You want to help me out?
I will.
You
So-
know a little bit more about it than I do.
Senate Bill 395 that was passed this past legislative session. One of the things that it's required is for governmental buildings that serve the public to now start maintaining some type of opioid antagonist, like what we commonly refer to as Narcan, like the Sheriff's Department uses and EMS uses. So a good way to think of it is the way they've approached it to us, is that basically if there's a building and you're required to have an AED, which we do in several of our governmental buildings, you now are required to keep at least, I think, 3 doses of the Narcan. Now, part of that, part of this bill is not only to have a policy stipulating that you're going to do these things, but also to set up training. So Director Parsons and I have already got together, and he's working on a training program where his paramedics are going to set up some times and schedules to actually train our employees on how to, one, identify a person, you know, affected by opioids, and then whether they should or shouldn't give the antagonist. And so that's basically what we're doing, is complying with the Senate bill.
Do I have a motion to accept this policy?
I'll make the motion to accept it.
Second.
Thank you. Any more comments? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Hopkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas?
Yes.
Commissioner Franks?
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon?
Yes.
Commissioner McCrary?
Yes. Next item, consider and approve solar ordinance update. This is probably one of many updates. As you're well aware of, this county does not have zoning, and a lot of the things that are coming up back when they were talking about zoning were not even in use or very little in use. And as I've said before, this entire board is here to make sure we take care of the public, make sure that we are doing our due diligence in keeping, whether it's contaminants or anything like that that may come in. Not that this is bringing contaminants, but not changing the footprint of Wayne County very much. And if we don't put any limitations on it, as you heard a while ago with the beer and wine license, we ask if they have met all criteria, and if there's no criteria, then we don't have a choice but to approve it. That's why we're putting some of these parameters on here for solar ordinances. I myself, and I think a couple other commissioners, have been talking to other counties that have already implemented solar farms. Some are thousands of acres, some of them are smaller, but we just want to make sure we have something in here so that we have the opportunity to keep an eye on these things that are coming into our county. Do I have a motion to approve or consider this ordinance?
I make a motion, we accept this.
Okay.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Any comments?
The only comment I've got is, this was a lot of stuff that IDA, they had researched other counties and recommended that we update ours, and I think it's a great thing. So I think, thanks to the IDA for y'all doing a lot of homework for us and helping us,
Yeah,
you know.
just
Community
another part
working
of,
together.
just another part of somebody else helping,
Community
giving
working
their
together.
expertise.
That's right. That's all I have, Chair.
Okay. Anybody else? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Franks,
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
Commissioner McCreary,
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins.
Yes.
Okay, next item is consider and approve agreement with Jackie Hoyt, I guess I said that right, Reference
Yes.
Hall Richardson Center. I did look at this. The two things that concerned me with this, one was a 3-year commitment on the same day, every week. So I believe it's on Monday that they would be holding bingo, and it would be for 3 years. They are wanting the normal rental fee waived for this. And there would be a 5% return. I know there is one conflict of interest for it to be done every 3 years, or for 3 years on every Monday, is when we do have elections. There would be a problem with that date. I don't know of any others. I know a lot of these are public centers that we use to make sure that the public, if they don't have another place to gather or whatever, that they are able to go to these places. And the only thing I fear is if we do one like this for 3 years, that we are opening the door for other people to reserve it for several years or whatever, and then we cut down on the amount of time that whether it's public or groups want to use these facilities, we're cutting it down to where they don't have that opportunity. That's just my 2 cents in it. So I'll open the floor for a motion and a second, and we can talk about it if we get that motion and second for this.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve it, and then I'll be able to talk about it when we get ready.
Okay.
I'll second it so that we can discuss it, because I'll second it. for
Okay.
Discussion.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas?
Yeah. I know Ms. Jackie Hart personally, she's one of my church members. I think that the 3-year thing be negotiated to be renewed every year, maybe, so in case things change, maybe. But as far as the waiving the rental fee, Ms. Hart, I know, and she's here, so she speaks for herself too, but the money that's gonna be made off of this is gonna go towards the senior citizens. This is gonna give them some kind of pot of money that they can use to go to trips, movies, buy games or whatever. That's what it's gonna be for. That's the main purpose of it. Can I refer to her if you want, Mr. Chairman?
You can.
Ms. Hart, you wanna add anything to that?
No, Commissioner, just to say, you are absolutely right. The 5% will be, donated to the senior, center, to help defer costs, for them and to, of course, send them on their trips and what other activities they may have. And yes, I will consider, of course, renewing annually. That'd be fine too, if that's a big concern of yours. That's not a problem.
So, not to put you on the spot, but, so the 5%, what would, a ballpark figure, what would that equate to? I know you have different,
Well,
weeks will be different and things like
exactly.
that.
Well, it all depends on how many people play. So, that will determine, that. And right now, I have no idea. But, I know I need at least 20 people to play each month.
Okay,
So it'll depend.
okay.
So, I'm trying to get my head wrapped around this thing. So, we waiver, what's the rental fee?
The rental fee's $150 a month.
Okay, $150 a month. So we're saying.
Or no, each time it's
each time's
$150,
$150.
yes.
So the 5%, and you can't look in a crystal ball, would not cover the 150. Where does the 95% go? What is
Well,
that
we
for?
are a nonprofit organization.
Okay.
I have a brochure that explains who we are and what we do. May I approach and give each one of you a brochure?
Yes, ma'am.
So the other 95% goes to supporting, women, sorry.
That's fine.
With programs and services for affordable homes and houses for women and family. And this is one of our fundraisers that we do. Thank you. This is one of our fundraisers that we do to help support those programs and services. So that's where, the rest of the funds will go to. And, you know, of course, the 5% will go to the seniors.
I can appreciate this. I'm a little bit with Commissioner McCrary. If we open the door, and I'm not saying that we wouldn't, but you understand what I'm saying, if we open this door with this, it could, you know, how do we tell the next person no? The way I feel about it, I would agree, but if there's any like early voting or something that would be a conflict with this date,
I mean, well, obviously, that would take preference.
right,
There would
anything
be
that the
no
county,
payment
anything that the county would have, you know, would have precedence over it, so it doesn't interfere with, and also too, like, people do a lot of homecoming, there's a lot of church events there. I mean, when I go by there, there's a lot of things that y'all have going on. Nice, I mean, really, you know, a lot of family events, like I said. I mean, I don't, tying it up this much with that much, you see where I'm going with it?
I
I'm
do
looking
see
at it
where-
both
yes,
ways.
I do,
I'm
but
trying to
this
play
is a
devil's
Monday
advocate
night.
here.
It's a Monday night. Usually, people are renting these, renting this, center
On the
Thursday,
weekends.
Friday, Saturday,
Saturday.
Sunday. That's
Yeah.
when things are really happening, in the community. But a Monday night, it's pretty quiet.
Let me interject right here, because we have similar agreements, not contractually, but sort of agreed upon verbally. We have community groups that meet there regularly, NAACP and some other, they meet at a regular basis, and we don't charge them anything as long as they leave the center neat, clean like they found it. And they've been doing that for years, because it's community oriented, and then there's some other things we do there. We have groups that we used to, we had a group that was providing tutoring there, and they had access in the afternoon. Hopefully, as soon as we can get our senior citizen building up, that building will be freed in all day for different things. That's the only thing right now is that we're using it for senior citizens until we erect a new senior citizen building. And we make arrangements every year for different citizens groups, civic groups, the back to school, big boys, big girls, Tyrone Johnson, the Guild uses to give out book bags and those kind of stuff. We waive it for them, so it's all community.
How would this scheduling affect the other people that we've already waived it for? I mean, wouldn't they, I mean, can we write up something, I'm just hypothetically speaking here.
Does the NAACP meet on Monday nights? I think somebody, was it, who, did you get
The
the
rec
schedule?
department.
The rec department said they meet every second Monday.
Is that second Monday?
Yes, sir.
So what I would suggest, I'm not against it, I mean, I think this is a great, what I would suggest is that if there's any nights that's already been, that people have already got it booked or been using it, you know, I would honor their
Yeah,
place.
sure.
And maybe do it on an annual basis. Let's just see how, or 6 months, for the first 6 months, let's see, it might not even, if you don't get enough participation, then we have to you'll do away with it anyway, right? Like I said, right now, you're just trying to get it off the ground, and trying to do it as cheap as possible so we can so we can really benefit this. I'm just talking. I'm not making any recommendations, I'm just trying to talk it out. That's all my only comment.
And that may be what we wind up doing, is just trying to figure out what we can do. May have to do it a few times to figure out how well it's gonna go, because I know the first couple of times you probably won't have a lot of people, and then it may pick up after that, and then we may be able to do something.
Well, can I speak to that? It's been gaining a lot of notoriety. And I had to postpone things because I had to get the approval. But bingo is a huge thing, especially in that community. We will get the participation. It's just that, the licensing, for the state of Georgia requires me to have a lease agreement. Other than that, that's a requirement. Doesn't have to be a 3-year agreement, 1 year will suffice, but it's a requirement, that I have to submit along with, my paperwork. So it's a requirement, I need to have some form of agreement.
Thank
You
you.
got a time frame, because I know when civics group meet, they only meet for an hour or so, and they can work out the time, they're gonna meet or whatever.
Well, that makes more sense to me. I didn't realize that you had to have an agreement with the state of Georgia in order to hold it, those kind of. So that helps me understand a lot more why you're asking this.
Sorry if I didn't.
No, that's fine. I'm just, I just gotta be a good steward. That's what I was elected for. I wanna be sure, I just didn't know that fact. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Okay, and any more comments? The motion and the second that we have is for the 3-year contract and the 5% return on the bingo profits.
I have a comment. What concerns me is, I think everybody should be treated equally. And if we're gonna waive the fee for the nonprofit organization, we should waive it for everyone. If we're not, if we're not gonna waive it, then we should treat everybody the same. That concerns me the most.
Well, Mr. Vice Chairman, we do waive the fee for these civic organizations already, as a nonprofit. I think the fees that are charged are the people actually gonna use that for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and for parties, for birthday parties or something like that, or whatever. And sometimes they have things that they charge for. Basically, for entertainment is what they charge for. These civic organizations and things that meetings that we're talking about, the rec department don't charge them for that.
But just not for 3 years.
Yeah.
1 week,
Well,
1 day a week.
Let's amend the motion for year to year then.
Right.
That's fine.
Any more comments? Madam Clerk?
Okay, first of all, this motion is for a 3-year contract and a 5% return?
Yes.
Year to year,
Okay,
renewable each year.
I think
Yeah, cause my
Well-
second was just so that we could discuss.
Mm-hmm.
That was the only.
That's
and I-
right.
And I made that clear when I did the second.
That's
I was
right.
not agreeing. I just second
That's
so we
right.
could discuss it openly.
Well, we're gonna have the opportunity to vote
Okay.
on it, and if it happens not to pass or whatever, we may have to revamp it and figure out what we can do that'll work. You
Okay.
still have questions on the motion?
okay,
It's for the paperwork that we have, okay.
all right. Commissioner Franks,
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon,
No.
Commissioner McCrary,
No,
Commissioner Hopkins,
I need to be clear if what are we voting on? Are we voting on a 3-year?
the 3-year.
the 3-year.
Oh, I thought we amended it.
Well,
I
but,
thought we were
Well, you
on-
couldn't,
right, well, not at this
because we
point.
already had a motion and a
Okay.
second.
Is on the
Okay.
floor, so it has to be settled before you can make an amendment.
Okay, before we make amendment, okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
All right, Commissioner Hopkins,
No.
Commissioner Thomas.
Yes.
All right,
Now we start over.
all right. next item, consider and approve update on animal control ordinance.
Wait a minute, are you gonna do the motion
we
for
wanna
the
do
year to
year to
year
year.
or
I think
what?
he wants to make a motion.
Oh, you
yeah,
want-
year to year.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Okay, also, now I'll make a motion that we, approve the year-to-year contract on the, on her business and, with the 5%, whatever.
Okay. Can't do a trial period or something shorter than a year?
Well,
Is that required? Can we ask her, Chair? Is a year required?
Yes, it's required by the state.
I think participation is gonna be the trial period,
Yeah.
getting people there.
Okay.
How do you want the, if we're drawing up the contract for a 12-month contract, how do you want me to handle any conflicts? I think somebody said the NAACP uses the facility with a lease agreement. I'm gonna have to have you can use the facility between 8 and 12 every Monday, but I'm gonna have to have some caveats in there. So if y'all could kind of flesh that out, how
Yeah.
you would like me to word that.
Right, cause if we approve it, it's for every Monday and we've already approved.
You've already got, sounds like you've already got
Other people using the facility.
at that time. So if we could kind of flesh that out, it would help me kind of finish up the contract.
Okay. So do we have a second on 1 year?
Key question?
I thought, NAACP was on Tuesday night.
Yeah, I believe they are.
Okay. That was just the info we got from the rec department, so that's good. I think if y'all attend, y'all probably know when it is.
Yeah. But, when it comes down to the election and everything, that's automatic.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, is it automatic?
You got to know that too.
Attorney, is it automatic?
I'm sorry, I was talking to the.
With election and stuff that do, any kind of conflicting dates that the county has been doing for years, like elections and stuff,
I think that needs to be articulated in the contract.
that's what I'm thinking too. Do
Because if we
wanna-
don't, we'll, I
Do we
mean,
wanna do this next?
Yeah,
Do you wanna do this next? Is it, do we need it now? What I'm saying, I'm just asking a question.
well, I think we just give them to work the dates out on the contract and then move forward.
okay. So we have a motion on the floor for 1 year and the 5% return, and we'll,
I'll second it.
okay. So we have a motion and a second, and, any more comments?
Just that the legal portion of that kind of stuff, you know, I don't know, we wouldn't have to vote on that, but anything that would conflict like we talked about this previously needs to be looked at, discussed, needs to be put in that lease agreement.
Okay.
I think that
Any existing agreements that we have with any other organizations take
Will it be
priority,
verbal
including.
or elections?
because I think we've only got 2 elections in 24. Josh, I
25.
hate to put you on. I mean 25. I hate to put you on the
think
spot. So we can those
Yeah.
dates can be figured out.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I mean they're already kind of set, and we probably could put a I mean obviously there can be a caveat in there for like a runoff or something like that.
And,
So
and also, as soon as we can erect the senior citizen building, the design is we have some classrooms in there and we had a few meeting rooms in there. And that's what it's gonna be used for, those groups that regularly meet for community service. How much is gonna be left for your birthday parties, whatever the case may be, and that's why they charge a fee for that. So we feel like if you're gonna be there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or whatever, you're gonna drop it like it's hot, then you put a deposit down there, you know?
Okay. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Gordon,
No,
Commissioner McCrary,
No.
Commissioner Hopkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Franks.
Yes.
All right, next item, update on to animal control ordinance. We did get a copy of this. Everything that's gonna be changed is in red, written in red from our current ordinance. I hope everybody's had a chance to read all of that because there is a lot of it. And if it does pass, then this will be put on our webpage
Yes.
so that everybody can look at it. I'm not gonna read through all of them because Drew's got a birthday party. No, there's a lot of changes that we have, and, if it does pass or it's approved, then, it will be put on our website so anybody can look at it that wants to look at it.
And Mr. Chairman, these are recommendations from our animal control officer, working with the city animal control officer. And it has been, for lack of a better term, I guess, vetted by the county attorney, making sure that there's no legal issues
Thank
or
you.
anything like that.
Thank you.
There is a considerable amount of verbiage in here relating to agriculture and cattle and livestock and horses. I really think we ought to take a little deeper look at this before we put it into motion. If we don't, I think we'll have to come back and amend it again, so.
That's fine.
So are you putting that in the form of motion that we table
I
it?
would put it in the form of motion, let's table it, and let's have a little more time to look at this.
Okay,
'Cause this is the first time I saw it this week, whenever I had a chance to look at it.
then there is a lot.
There's a lot.
Okay, so I have a motion and a second. Any more comments?
Who seconded it? I'm sorry.
I did.
Okay, Tim.
Madam Clerk?
Commissioner McCreary,
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Franks,
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon.
Yes.
And if you will, put that under old business.
Old business.
For our next meeting, please. Next item, consider and approve county properties. The first property that we will be dealing with or voting on to consider and approve will be map parcel number 93-17-315 Johns Road. Apparently that property was listed for 20,000, and Miss Kelly Lamb, who we turned all of this over to handle these property, has asked that we reduce it to 15,000. Apparently there has not been that much of interest in that property, so she's asking that we reduce it to 15,000, so maybe we can get an interested party to bid on that. Do I have a motion to reduce it from 20,000 to 15,000 for that piece of property?
So moved.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any comments? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Hopkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Franks,
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
Commissioner McCreary.
Yes. Next item is map and parcel number J22-37 there's a dash in there, 384 South US Highway 301. This is the Holiday Inn property. She is requesting that we reduce it from 325,000 to 300,000. Apparently she has not had any interest at 325,000 yet.
I'll make a motion
Okay,
for 300,000.
I'll second it.
okay. Have a motion and a second. Any comments? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Franks,
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
Commissioner McCreary,
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins.
Yes.
I thought we were gonna turn it over to the IDA.
I don't know. They better talk fast.
I think
Well,
300 is.
in all of these properties, this is to get it, so we get it back on the tax digest, so that we start collecting taxes on these properties again, and hopefully somebody, whether they move here or already live here, are able to utilize that property and make it into something besides a vacant lot. Next item, map and parcel number 112B-87-1, and this is 491 South US Highway 301. This is one that has not been listed, and she's requesting that we list it for, or she's suggesting that we list it for $35,000. I'll make that motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Any comments? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Franks,
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
Commissioner McCrary,
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas.
Gotcha.
All right, next item, mapping parcel number J8-6. Are you good, Madam Clerk? I mean, he just jumped the gun on you, but.
Uh-huh.
Mapping parcel number J8-65 at 598 North Brunswick Street and 562 North Brunswick Street. And this would start out at, I can't read my writing, is that a 25,000? I'm sorry. Yeah, this one's gonna be listed as $25,000.
Is that a new listing?
Yes, it's a new listing.
Does this have a house or anything on it, or, cause I don't see nothing, all I see is just a little.
Yes,
plot.
it does.
Okay. Where is it at?
Do you have a motion?
Okay.
Do you have a motion?
No, we do not.
No.
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
Commissioner McCrary,
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Franks.
Yes.
Next item, consider and approve contract with the Board of Tourism. Did you get a chance to give that to everybody?
It's in y'all's location, your
Okay.
seats.
I have seen it from the beginning, and hopefully this is the final contract. And this is the one for the Tourism Board to utilize J.C. Landing. They are the majority of the ones that use it anyway. And they will still rent it out, but they will be taking over the portion of the electric bills. Correct me if I'm wrong, Madam Clerk. Electric bills, the lawn care, the maintenance and upkeep on the buildings, and also doing repair work to the, is it
J.C. Hutt.
J.C. Hutt building, that the roof has been damaged for years and it needs to be repaired, and we're looking at the tourism board taking over this. Their portion of paying for all of this would be the upkeep and the maintenance to get these buildings back in shape. We've already spent $186,000 plus or minus on the large building and the bathroom facilities, but they will either continue to upgrade that building and also work on the other building to try to get it to where it doesn't become dilapidated more than it already is.
I might add that the same contract they've had in their hands for quite some time, with the exception of the insurance, which was, change was recently made.
Yeah. And the insurance, can we discuss openly, Chair? Or we gotta make motions?
We need a motion in a second and then we can discuss it. I just try to kind of give an update on what I know and some of the things that I have before we do get a motion in a second.
Because my understanding was, I thought we were gonna let them have the J.C. Hutt, because they were gonna fix it up, and that they were gonna make sure, that was my understanding. My understanding was not that they're gonna get the fairgrounds and the whole thing. So
Okay.
that was my understanding with the contract that we talked about, because we all agreed that J.C. Hutt is a very, very, we need to bulldoze it down to somebody's, and they're willing to take it on and fix it. There's a lot
Right.
of repairs that's gotta be there. It's got its own separate, map and parcel, so it's separated from the fairgrounds. It's got its own, whatever, 2 or 3 acres there. I don't know what it is, but it's a separate from the fairgrounds. It's a separate piece of property with a separate boundaries and everything.
Right. Okay.
So that was my understanding of what we were gonna contract out for them, because they were wanting to repair it and use it.
I know that was one of the projects that
Right.
they were gonna
And they
do.
were gonna take care of the maintenance of the pond.
Okay.
did not know that we were doing a contract for the fairgrounds.
Okay. Yeah, the only thing that that we just started contracting out the lawn care and all of that, and I think, Madam Clerk got us a estimate, it's $35,000, something like that, plus or minus, that we spend on lawn care out there, plus the electric bill, and the other.
I think the total was,
Oh, the
36.
total was, okay,
The total's $35,351.60.
okay.
and I'll add in now, it's been my understanding from day one that the contract was supposed to be for the fairgrounds and the J.C. Hut. I think, and I'm not sure about this, Commissioner Hopkins, but if there was some confusion, it may be because, I mean, the fairground building, for my understanding is, I mean, it was already done by the previous commission and it's in good working order. That's typically what the tourism board uses when they're out there, is the fairground itself and the fairground building. So part of this agreement, it's been my understanding is they're gonna put money into the J.C. Hut, which is the one that needs a whole lot of rehabilitation.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with it. I've
Yeah.
talked to a lot of people that's on that board many times.
Well, I mean, it's been from what's been relayed to me from day one, from them, is that they're wanting the fairground building, and the J.C. Hut. Because what they use is the fairground building and the grounds itself.
Very familiar with that.
Okay.
I just did not realize, because we distinctly were talking to the board, especially one member of that board, about doing the J.C. Hut. Because my theory was it's a safety hazard issue. There's pine trees that's fixing to fall on it. I've got video of it. I've been in it 2 or 3 times and looked. It's a big concern of mine. And I thought immediately we were gonna do that contract and then look at the fairgrounds at a later date. So I didn't realize we consolidated it all together. That's my mistake. I
Okay.
didn't understand that. So my understanding is, what is it, 35,000, what are we saying to maintain that piece of property? And how much rent do we bring in?
I don't
Have we looked at that?
0.
No, what I'm
Because
saying
it-
is,
I mean, I'm
when we
sorry.
rent the thing, if it's costing us more to upkeep it and they're the people that's
We
renting
don't
it,
rent it.
Well,
what we
well,
bring in,
We don't
they're
rent it.
Tourism board, so they don't,
they don't pay.
no.
yeah,
what
they're
I'm
a
saying.
board, yeah.
So any other outside renters, if it's not feasible for us with the 35,000 it's costing us to maintain it, if we're not bringing at least a profit, then I agree. The
Yeah.
tourism board's one that uses all the time with our agreement with them
Yeah.
to get more people here in Wayne County is they can use it free.
Yeah.
Is that my understanding?
Mhm.
Yes,
That's
sir.
what I understand.
Yep.
Okay.
I have a question, if it's not out of line. I mean, if we need a motion, that's fine, but it doesn't include the actual landing and where the river project is, and it doesn't include the pool track, right?
No, sir, it doesn't.
No, sir.
Okay,
It's just
Yes,
the
FFA's
left,
got that right.
So,
yeah, young farmers.
Young
That's what
farmers
I
have the
thought.
pool
FFA,
track,
yeah.
the landing, the, Autumn Hall Leisure Authority has the campground and the landing.
yes, sir, Commissioner Thomas.
well, my thing is this, is that, if they rent it out and get money on it, I mean, why can't we get a portion of it? I mean, if it's our property. The tourism getting tourism tax anyway.
That's right, that's right. Well, and this is the way we get our portion, is for them to fix up the buildings so that we don't have to spend the taxpayers' money. You know how much we got into on the other one.
You know, we just hadn't been aggressive in maybe getting grants or something to fix that place up like we did the authority down there, you know, fixing the landing up. You know, that's like me leasing my house to you and you rent it out. I can rent it out.
Going on for years and years.
I
Yeah.
know, but we, I guess we had put forth the effort to advertise, I guess we left it up to the rec department, which is, we should do better than that.
Well, and the thing is, the tourism board uses it so much down there to draw in people. They've just started the monster truck event. They have the, somebody help me out here, catfish tournament, the hog jam, coon
Fair.
jam,
Fair.
the fair, multiple times a year. And they're just the ones that use it the most. They are an extension of us by being the tourism board to bring people in so that they will spend money here in Wayne County,
Okay,
inadvertently getting tax money in for us. I see where you're going though.
let's go, you're running your time.
The county will still own the property. It's just we're getting rid of $35,461.60 a year,
Expense.
in expenses.
All right, so,
Well, I got one more. So, how long the lease agreement are we talking about?
I don't remember if we,
Because one I seen, I've seen 2 or 3 different
Well-
versions of this lease agreement.
and we can terminate it if we have to. There's a clause in
I
there.
think both parties.
Mr. Beaver, can you elaborate on
I
that?
forgot the exact amount of time without looking at it, but there is a termination after. Basically what it is the way it kind of works out.
Because you get into a contract, when you get into a contract, the first thing you need to do is figure out how to get out of it.
Well, that has already
There's
been
a clause.
established, so if we get out of it, we will have to give them a small portion of the money that they have already
I remember
spent.
seeing that it's a certain amount of years before they get that.
That's right.
So basically it's a 15-year contract. The term of this agreement shall begin on January 1 of 2025 and end on December 31st, 2025. And we got in there, and shall automatically be renewed for 14 consecutive one-year terms ending December 31st of 2039. Unless either party exercises their option to prevent such automatic renewal under the terms of this agreement. Basically, we have to provide them a 30-day notice. Now, here's the kind of the catch to that as well, though. It's my understanding that they were going to put a significant investment into the properties out
Yep.
there. I think I've worked on this agreement for probably 6 years now, it feels like. But basically, it kind of boils down to this. The county may terminate this agreement for convenience at any time upon sending a 90 days notice to the other party. In the event the county decides to exercise its option to terminate this agreement prior to the end of its term or any automatically renewing terms, the county agrees to repay the tourism board one of the following amounts, depending on when the agreement is terminated. In the event the county decides to terminate this agreement anytime prior to December 31st of 2030, the county will repay the tourism board a total sum of 85% of the tourism's investment into the said property. In the event the county decides to terminate the agreement anytime after December 31st, 2030, but prior to December 31st, 2035, the county will repay the tourism board a total sum of 20% of the tourism board's investment into the property. In the event the county decides to terminate this agreement anytime after December 31st, 2035, but prior to December 31st, 2039, the county will repay the tourism board a total sum of 10% of the tourism board's investment in the said property. In the event the tourism board investment exceeds $125,000, they shall notify the county and provide any supporting documentation as requested. Should the county disapprove of the continued investment, the tourism board shall cease improvements until either the county agrees or a binding arbitration can make a determination as how to proceed. So
That's exactly what I remember. I didn't know if that had been changed.
yeah, that part's still.
That's still the same.
And the only reason for that is because the largest investment is gonna be made
It's
within
J.C.
the
Hunt.
first 5 years.
That's right.
And that's why they wanna, and I don't blame them,
I
they
don't
wanna
blame 'em.
make sure when they invest something, they're gonna be able to get 85%
Yeah.
back if it gets taken from.
I'm good. I
Okay.
just needed that reassurance to make sure
Okay.
nothing's changed since the last time
Yep.
I read it, because it's been about 6 months.
All right, so I don't guess we have a motion on this yet, but
No.
the motion will be, that we're approving this contract and it'll be returned to us before the next meeting and we'll be able to discuss it then. If there, what other avenues we wanna take if they're not gonna sign the contract
Understand?
by
So
the
this
next
is
meeting.
basically submitting the contract to them for them to review, and then
To sign.
And then we'll vote back.
No, for them to sign.
If
If
they
they don't
sign,
have
it's
it
a
back
done
to
deal?
it, cause we've been going through this, y'all know how many
I know.
years? I mean, this has been going on and on and on. So at their next meeting, they can vote and sign it and have it back to us before our next meeting. And, if they don't choose not to sign it, then that way we can make sure we, look at other avenues that we can go to whatever we need to do with the fairgrounds.
Do you have a motion?
I do not have a motion.
I'll make a motion. We accept the contract with the assumption we'll have it back by next meeting.
Phone.
Ooh, is that my $20?
That's not the
Pass it right on down here. All right, I have a motion. I'll second it. Any more comments?
Yes. I'd like a letter to be sent to the tourism board explaining that we're expecting that contract back by the next meeting.
Okay, if it passes, that's, okay. All right,
I think I'm okay with it, as long as it don't interfere with what the county's been trying to do out there, and I haven't
Right.
been around to see this, so I'm good with it.
yeah, and I don't think we ever use it. Have we ever used that building out there for the county?
All I know of.
Not, I mean, other than the tourism, they're the only ones that use it, so there's nothing to really, have a conflict of interest with.
I got one more thing about, I know we did really good with the church, with the authority, but like the maintenance of this pump and all that, is all that included? They're responsible for all kind of maintenance upgrades?
Yes.
If that pump goes out, that well needs a new well? I'm good.
Wash our hands.
Yes.
They've taken over.
Okay, I'm good.
Okay,
I'm good. No more discussion here.
any more?
May I offer one small correction to
It's your birthday, go ahead.
The Arts Council does use that for the Dogwood Festival every year.
Okay, and they're still gonna rent it out to, whether it's the Arts Fest or whoever it is, so they'll just need to make sure they get with them instead of the rec department to utilize that property. Yep. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner McCrary?
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas?
No.
Commissioner Franks?
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon?
Yes.
All right, next item is, Aging Advisory Committee, Beverly Leafhart resigned with term expiring on 6/30/25. She has, do we have anybody? Is this an at-large appointment?
Yes, it is.
It is, okay, so anybody can make an appointment for that, committee. Does anybody have a name for that they would like to present? Okay, with no name, I make a motion that we table this until our next meeting to give us the opportunity to find.
Okay,
someone
and I'll,
or a
if
couple.
y'all want me to, I'll advertise it,
If you
like
would.
I did before, like the election board and
If-
stuff,
if
I'll
you
advertise
would,
it.
And then
Okay.
that way, that'll give us a selection of several, or the option of several different names. Do I have a second on tabling this?
Yes.
Any comments, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Hopkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas?
Yes.
Commissioner Franks?
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon?
Yes.
Commissioner McCrary?
Yes. If you would make sure that's on our agenda for
Next
next
month.
month. Next item, item with the county administrator, make it short.
In reference to House Bill 581, if you remember, that's the new floating homestead exemption that the referendum was on the November ballot. It passed statewide and also here in Wayne County by 61%. I don't think this is something that needs to be voted on unless y'all start having a discussion and want to. But just so I can have clear direction, can I get a consensus from the board that we are not going to opt out? Because if you remember correctly, the legislature allowed counties to opt out of it. If you opt out of it, we have to hold the 3 meetings, like the tax hearings and that type thing. I just, 'cause-
I'm for the people have spoken.
61% more.
and that's what I thought, Commissioner, but the county attorney and I were talking today, and he was correct in saying, you know, you really need to get, to make sure we've got direction and not just assume, basically, so.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much. The other one is the Gleason Copeland Landon, which was the former Upper County Landon. We're gonna, I think, well, I don't know if we got it in on the paper on time, but we're announcing it.
Looking out for you.
Thank you very
Okay.
much, Drew.
I did send
And-
it in late,
Good,
but
and so for Bob as well, I don't know what that is.
it's telling you to reboot.
It's gonna be closed from January 13th, which is a Monday, till January 17th, which is a Friday of this year, in reference to a military training exercise, and it's just the landing itself. Obviously, there's a subdivision entrance down there and, a home on the right before you actually get to the landing. But they're wanting to close that off. They're actually gonna camp there, bivouac, and they'll be there from Monday all the way till probably, if not late Thursday night, sometime Friday morning. They will not be doing operations at night, as the email I sent y'all previously. They will not have weapons and any live ammunition whatsoever. Basically, what they're doing is practicing crossing moving water is what they're doing, and they're going to deploy the boat type bridge rafts. They'll deploy them and not go all the way across the river so as not to block it. They'll deploy them, take them back down, load them up, and then do it again. And they're just going to do it over and over and over. It's just a training exercise. So,
And it has been posted on our Facebook page and with the paper and our website.
Thank you. Items with the county clerk, financials.
Okay, November 2024 budget report compared to, or 24 compared to November 23 with the ARP. Your revenues for 24 are $3,546,985.16. 23 is $1,571,572.56. The overall revenues are up from 2023 by 125.70%. Expenditures, 2024, $2,529,968.25. 23, $2,119,365.04. Overall expenses are up from 2023 by 19.37%. Some of the ups are, the amounts that are up is due to supplies. They're up from 2023 by 50.56%, and that's like electricity, water, sewage, supplies for elections, the employee appreciation, prisoner medical care, EMS medical supplies, fuel for the fuel pumps, and recreation athletic supplies. Capital outlays, the airport improvement grant was up. This year, we spent $39,664.79 in 2024, and we did not spend anything in 2023. And then ARP is up $26,207.16 from 23, and we paid 1,012 invoices, and we processed 438 checks. And then your fund balance as of December the 31st, 2024, general fund, $7,013,977.85. Lost treasury, $9,499,059.02. SPLOST 4, $6,731,298.83. T-SPLOST, $6,625,677.50. American Rescue Plan, $2,253,160.71. Revolving Loan Fund, $326,760.88. And SPLOST 5, $1,966,075.06. That's all.
Thank you. Next item, county commissioner items. Commissioner Thomas.
Yes, sir, Commissioner. Just want to refer to county administrator, how we coming with our senior citizen building?
We're basically in the same place we have been in reference to the plans have been sent to the architect, and they have them. They did reply to Mr. Brandon Purcell because he forwarded it, or I think she may have replied to actually both of us. But anyway, they're working on it. They've been extremely busy, she said, but, and I think it's a she. Okay, thank you. But yeah, they're still working on it, and they've been busy with other projects, but they still plan on taking care of this project for us.
Okay. Well, get a little anxious.
Oh, yes, I agree.
Also, Mr. Chairman, just for the record, and Secretary, my glucose went up, so that Daycon G7, that's what the alarm telling me.
Oh, okay,
Saving that $20.
excused. Is that all you
That's
have,
all I have.
Commissioner Hopkins?
I just reiterate on what Commissioner Thomas was talking about this, Stevens Center, for the elderly. It just seems like there's anything we can do to speed that up.
Yeah.
These people have been very patient. Other than that, everything's great in my district. Roads are good, y'all taking care of everything. I appreciate the road departments. I passed them today and I thanked them. They were out there filling up potholes on Post Road. That's all I have.
Okay. Commissioner Frank?
Well, it's a pleasure to be here and work with this group. I'm looking forward to it. And I've been a servant for the community for a long time now. I like being in that role, so anything I can do, the public needs my attention on something, I'm open to whatever, so we're proud to be here and look forward to working with you. The ag complex is coming along, and we're gonna make some big strides out there in the next 60 days, so it's all coming together.
Okay. Is that all? Commissioner Gordon?
I'm looking forward to a very good 25. I wish everybody a happy new year. And, Mr. Chairman, I wish I had a ribbon put around me.
Is that it?
That's it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I would like to also congratulate Commissioner Franks on winning District 5, Commissioner Hopkins, and Commissioner Gordon. Commissioner Thomas and I did not have to run this time, but congratulations to all of y'all. And I also look forward to working with y'all. I think we have one goal in mind. No frivolous spending, and we want to get things done as quick as possible. A lot of times, Mr. Drawley can tell you, we have obstacles that we have to get in our way, and we just try to work through them, try to be as patient as we can, but still getting the goal accomplished. Other than that, I don't have anything. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Second.